Hey everybody, today Mr. Brian's Amazing World, we're showcasing our 1971 Volkswagen bus. Now, this particular bus, man, I found it a bunch of years back, and when I went to look at it, my first determination was, if I'm going to buy this bus, if I open the door and I don't see the ground, and I couldn't believe my eyes when it was still solid, beautiful metal in there. So I bought this thing, and it wasn't red, it was the ugliest color yellow you could imagine, and the kid did just a quick respray on it. So spent some time fixing it up a little bit and decided, okay, maybe I should paint this thing. And well, I painted it in the garage, bought a nice gun, learned how to do it, and I think it came out absolutely gorgeous. So let's see, 1971, it's a bay window model bus. I mean, they made a ton of these. There's not a whole lot of them left on the roads today. The road salt ate them, and I mean, they were crushed up pretty good back in the day. But this bus is just absolutely something else. It has the camper interior in it. It does have a tin top, which makes this a weekender model type bus. As far as the interior goes, about one of the only things I didn't want to do was anything with the ceiling. I like it the way it is. I let my daughter decorate it and color on it and draw on it, and it's kind of neat. It gives us a little character to it. Found this little thing hiding in the dash when we were building it. Kind of made that the spirit of the bus as it floats up there. The dashboard, as you see, it was all padded originally. I tore that part out. I like it better seeing the metal. It makes it have that older feel and appeal to it. As far as the door panels, got redwood door panels on it. And this is real redwood, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, very few vehicles have real wood interiors to them. This is obviously the walnut original interior that it had. And it has the jump seat, and you can store some stuff under there. And kids love sitting on this because it's backwards. And believe it or not, this is the original vinyl material that was used as the seat cover. That's why I didn't change it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of old and ragged. Same with the front seat. I mean, this one, I could use some new seats, but it really does show a little bit of character to this particular bus. I mean, as far as everything on the outside goes, she was all redone except for the bumper. And it had its little dings and dents in the bumper, and you know, I figured rather than straighten those, let's leave those. They show the character and the history, and it's like, you see this beautiful bus? Those little pieces to tell you the life it led prior to this. So, normally this bus would be pushed along with a 1600cc engine, and well, I've had plenty of Volkswagens, and you know, they leave a lot to be desired having such a small engine. But this bus has a spare tire. That seat folds down, and there's a compartment over there. Back to the engine though. So this particular 1600cc engine is not a 1600cc Volkswagen engine. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2001 Subaru 2-liter engine. It is fuel injected, computer controlled. It has 2 radiators on it. This thing actually has heat to it. It makes about 160 horsepower, which compared to the 40 horse it started with, well, that's 4 times the power. As you know, you finally can go up a hill and actually pass people if you really want to. So this little jug here is just my overflow for my antifreeze. It's a little tricky to actually bleed this system because everything is so high, and I really want to know what's going on with this, and if there's any change in this at all, then I know there's an issue. So far, I mean, I've really done pretty well with this. As far as hooking up the throttle linkage, I have the old Volkswagen linkage coming through here, just the throttle, and the weird connector that came off the Subaru, I was able to wedge together and tie it up and clip it on there, and it works absolutely perfectly. I had to get a new belt to fit this on there, and I kind of wish I kept the old air conditioning system. I could have actually hooked this up in here. So, well, this thing starts, it runs, it's reliable, you don't have to do anything. The old Volkswagen engines, you were constantly tuning and adjusting the valves, and you had no power at all, and they didn't move. So, like I said, with the whole heat issue here, I decided I wanted to keep this as original as I could. If I changed this back one day to the stock motor, no problem. I didn't do any modifications that I can't get rid of later. So, with that said, I kept the heating system, the ductwork system from the Subaru, and I run my heat lines through here. The only thing I did to this car was cut 2 little holes to run the radiator lines through here for heat, and then that can come out through the bottom of this when we really need it. And I store the battery under the seat as well to do all my stuff from there. This is just to hold up that. Overall, like I said, this seat does fold down here and pulls out to be a bed. Maybe I could show you that in a little bit. But overall, let me, there you go. Hop in there, young lady. Go for a little spin here. Oh, you want to come too? Go ahead. Come on. Hop in. Of course, you gotta go. Why, it wouldn't be the proper video without the dog following along with us. So, here, I'll let you hold this for a minute. For a neat old bus, like I said, this dash pad, it had all this. I tore that out. I didn't like the way that looked. So, with this, you turn it on, you hear the fuel pumps kick on, let them run for a second. Turn the key and she fires to life. I mean, vroom, vroom, vroom. You probably can't even really hear it. It's a Subaru engine. I left the stock exhaust on that. I wanted to keep this thing as quiet as I could. I mean, who wants a noisy car? It's great to be quiet. Why don't you go lay down, girl, because you're going to be, have a seat. I got the shift and everything. Right in the front. Can you believe this? Got this whole bus and she's in the front here. And it's geared extremely low for the amount of power we have. And it's awesome. Girl, you gotta go move back there. This is ridiculous. You're gonna get bopped in the head when I shift. There we go. And no, come on, girl. Go lay down.
Ellie.
Alrighty, here. And you can see, I mean, for an old Volkswagen, this thing really gets up and moves here. We're already going 60, 65. We shift into fourth at 65. Just like that. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Now, this is a daily drivable bus right now. I mean, it just hauls like a Subaru, basically. I mean, you have the reliability. You don't have to do any of the work to it. It gets about 23 miles to the gallon or so, which is great. You know, I have 4 times the power and I'm getting 23 miles to the gallon with heat. And no real tuning issues. Once you solve all the little tweaks, the key to doing this conversion, if you do it, is to put a million, I'm talking a million grounding wires in, because that is the key to keeping this engine running right. All the little sensors read the ohms and resistance of everything, and if it's not getting the proper ground, it just makes the bus drive really bad and throws everything out of whack. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to have a bus like this, and everybody seems to love it. You get a lot of waves and smiles per mile, and it's awesome. And you just go, it loves it. Kind of like having a little hot rod Volkswagen. And I've had some souped up engines. I built some big ones, 2165, dual Webers and all that nonsense, and you know, you're constantly tuning them and they're never working right. What the heck? Move up, modern technology, and enjoy yourself. And even with the souped up Volkswagen engine, you get 8 miles to the gallon, screaming along in the most noisy vehicle ever. This is nice and quiet. Zings. It's wonderful. Why don't you jump in the back, take a look, see what it looks like from back there. Show what the road is, you know. Maybe the dog will follow you. You can go back and get sit up here. Where you going, girl? What do you think? You want to sit up here? Or go back and see Mom?
This is fabulous. I feel like, yeah, I feel like we're just gonna cross country.
Isn't it cool back there? I mean, my little girl would sit back there in the car seat, she'd draw on the ceiling and put stickers everywhere. We this little girl just bobbing around, and it was cool. Definitely makes Mr. Ryan's Amazing World that much more amazing.
Hi,
right, dog? Oh, there she goes. You don't like that power? How many Volkswagens can make a dog slide? Yeah, she's running pretty well. I like it.
Is that a 3-wheeler on the back of that?
I didn't notice.
Kind of seemed like it.
Really? Should go get that one. Yeah. What a beautiful day. I hope you all like this bus and our little video here. We'll take you out another time, but make sure to like and subscribe, Mr. Brian's Amazing World. If you have any questions, like, comment, whatever, share it. Be glad to answer them for you. I mean, this has been my project. I spent a lot of time ripping the engine out of the Subaru and the whole wiring harness, and it was a project alone to do that. And you can see the first start of this engine on one of our other videos and some other stuff we do. And I hope you're enjoying your day, your little cruise in an 1971 Volkswagen bus with a 2001 Subaru engine in it. And this thing is great. Yeah, okay, here we go. in Pennsylvania, I don't want to drive this thing because it's not good when you slam into these 6-inch deep potholes. It does a heck of a job to this thing. Number to it. But yeah. And you can see, I mean, it just cuts right along in, you know, first gear here like nothing. You know, get you out of here. Stay over there, stay over there, stay over there. Come here, Alice. Come on. Come on over here, girl. Come on. So what'd you think of your little ride?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Wait, groovy.
Groovy? Oh, it's groovy. All right. Oh, that was fun to make the dog slide around. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Here, hold this for a second. I'll open this bed up and show you what this looks like. It's really cool to have this, especially on, you know, if you go to a party or whatever. Now this pulls up, and you got to kind of push down at the same time. It's a little weird. There we go. It just clicks and clacks. I just didn't have it right, but now you know. I mean, I'm 6'1", and if I can lay down here, definitely pretty cool. I mean, I can see why these things were so popular back in the day. I mean, who wouldn't love to have a, you know, little contraption like this? Now, what do you think of it? Is it even groovier?
It's even groovier.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Be the shaggin' wagon here, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's for sure. And this is pretty much the bus. I did put a temperature gauge here so I can watch that and make sure that my fans, I have 2 electric fans running off my radiators in the back. And it does, you feel the heat coming through here once in a while. What a great motor. I mean, you can really beat on this thing quite a bit. I had to run a few extra lines for my fuel injection, and it has a return line going back into the old vent. Let's see, a couple other things. Like I said, there's grounding wires everywhere on this thing. And short of making this little block and holding that in there, this is still the stock intake from the Subaru. All these parts and pieces, even the exhaust system. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, we're pretty low to the ground here. I mean, I have I have about 4 inches of clearance normally. And it's pretty low, but not as low as some cars. And I haven't hit the pan yet, but I do bump this every once in a while. That is the stock Subaru exhaust underneath there. And what I did get was this U-bend. It was really the only piece that I had to buy. I have the O2 sensor welded in right here. And I was able to hook that all together and back out of there. And it works really, really well. The only thing that I don't have under this thing is the old cat from this. Luckily it's a 71, I'm not required to have that. However, when I did have the cat in there, it really got too hot, and it was like about another 100 degrees of temperature to deal with in such a tight, small space. I was having some trouble with that. As soon as I got rid of that, it worked a whole lot better. It was loading up and backfiring through it for some reason. Most likely probably due to grounding wires. That was back when I first got it going. Overall, the only problem I have, I managed to hit a deer at 5 o'clock in the morning one day. Yeah, that wasn't very nice. I felt that thing with my toes. It was kind of scary. I mean, you don't want to hit anything in this machine. There's only like a tiny, thin little piece of tin in front of you to protect you. But overall, pretty lucky to have such a great vehicle in this condition. Most of them are all really rusted apart, and there's no floors or doors or even this whole part. It's like, wow, look at this. That's what they're supposed to look like? Unbelievable. I feel extremely lucky to have stumbled across this bus and picking it up. And I mean, you have these windows that pop out here. Really kind of neat to give you a little cross ventilation in the thing. While you take your nap.
And you really could. This is seriously comfortable.
Oh, it is. I've slept on it before.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Took it to a wedding. It was a great time. Yeah. Definitely neat. And like I said, the kids love this jump seat because it's backwards and you can store some stuff in there. And the whole key with doing this engine conversion was to make it as original as I could and not damage anything. And okay, yeah, there's some quirks and this could be fixed, but again, you know, those are perfect little things in the bus, and I really like that it's not 100% perfect. It's got its just right character. When it's too nice, you don't want to use it. Now, this cutout piece here, I got this, came with the bus. Some other person had put a Type 4 engine in this bus. So I did find another interior piece, and I reused the one that he had hacked all apart for this, so I didn't ruin a good apron for this. And I still have the old one, so I can ever put it back to original, I can. I don't see why I ever would, unless something really cool comes out with some fuel technology where I can run the old motor again. But otherwise, why bother? It's great. So make sure you like and subscribe, Mr. Brian's Amazing World. We do a ton of other stuff. We take this Jeep out. We show you how to do all kinds of cool stuff with that, the three-wheelers. We have a ton of videos now, and the dog is in almost every one of them, surprisingly. We go out sailing and camping and hanging out.
I'm wondering how many videos she's in.
Oh, quite a lot. You should probably keep track of that, maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, you have a great day, and make sure to subscribe. We really need you to subscribe. But thank you. Have an awesome day.